I've got a dear friend who I've gotten to know over the last, 2.5 years is when we met, roughly. Yeah. I mean, it was a random reach out that happened because of Garrett, for those of you who know Garrett.
Good prospecting.
Yeah, he did a phenomenal prospecting. We were hanging out in Tulum. Attempt number 2.
They don't know
the joys of making videos. The joys of making videos when it comes to co-creating. I am joined here by what I would consider to be a dear friend who is on an epic road trip in his new Tesla. But more importantly, I think he's on an epic road trip away from the business that he's been running and all the work that he's been doing over the last 2.5 years that I've known you. You've gone through a whole cycle of awesome. But I just want to welcome an unexpected guest, because I didn't even know you were showing up today, to Montreal, Nick Koyama, who I met under the guise of the Visual Era, but now is running the Video Warrior, right?
Still have Visual Era. It just more operates as a holding company.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it's like functioning in the sense that it's got some assets. It was an agency or a video production arm that you were running with a whole team of people. I mean, first of all, why are you on an epic road trip? And then let's talk about the story of how we know each other. Actually, no, let's start with the story of how we know each other.
Yeah, that's probably
and
better.
Then we'll go into where or how you're on this epic road trip.
Yeah, well, we know each other because you're a good friend, partner. Garrett reached out to me and wanted me to speak on Superhero Academy, I believe.
Yeah.
He wanted me to do some guest stuff.
Yep.
And then we got together for a meeting, and I remember him telling me about Superhero, and then I'm like, is the smart guy that you're talking about around? And he's like, yeah, he's in the other room. And then we sat down on that call, and then that's when things just became like, oh my God, that's what you're doing? Like,
I need to learn
do you teach people like me how to do that?
Yeah.
And you're like, well, I want to make a course. I'm like, well, let me make you that course because I want to know all that stuff. And it's really cool looking in hindsight because we have built a community and a course that's done a lot, and we've taken a lot from what you've done and just the whole energy of creating a course and a school. I don't even know why I said course.
Yeah,
it's
a school.
Yeah, a school,
Yeah.
a new type of school, and yeah, it's been fun.
Yeah, I mean, so how I remember it going down is basically we were in Tulum. Garrett and I are in Tulum, and we were trying to work on things that were things that we wouldn't normally work on. We were trying to focus on things that we wanted to do biz dev, if you want to put it in another way. And so I was doing a lot of email copy. I think I was writing email copy, which is ironic because I'm writing email copy now for the new relaunch of Superhero Academy, including the How to Build a School course that you ended up filming and producing out in Santa Barbara. And he was like, oh man, this guy is super good at video. He fucking gets it. It was just he really, really wanted to meet you and wanted to kind of figure out how we could collaborate and have you be a guest, I believe. And then, it just quickly turned into, well, why don't you come out to Santa Barbara and let's film a course? You'll teach me it because I want to learn it anyway, and then we'll film it and we'll turn it into a product that we can both own, and we'll figure out the details as we're there. And I remember that production turnaround because we filmed 50 classes, some of which are 6 minutes, but some of them are 15, 20 minutes or whatever, right? Some of them are fairly long. It was an entire curriculum that is How to Build a School. And any of you who want to look at this, you could just go to superheroacademy.net and you can just check it out. Yeah. But just the curriculum itself, I'm not even trying to plug it or sell it so much as I'm like,
I will.
Fine. But we built an entire curriculum that was fairly extensive.
Yeah.
And I made that whole thing up between the time we met in November, and then I was out there in January, right after the new year, basically. And I remember we had a 21-day production turnaround where it was I was there for 3 weeks, and in those 21 days, I filmed the entire course. And this was multiple sessions a day, prepping everything, making slides, and coming up with all the screen shares. You had a whole team there. I remember Anthony and a bunch of others that were all participating and helping out. It was a production. It was a lot of work, and I had to finish all my details around that. You also were like, oh, why don't we get an investor to invest in this? So I had random investor meetings with you, which was super random. But that made me start thinking about Superhero Academy as a larger scale business and thinking about it as more of a multi-teacher online school. So I think you had a huge part in doing what the last 2.5 years of me being cooped up in a hole, thinking about how I can rebrand and recreate the entire school went into. And you made me realize how valuable building a school was, not just a course was.
Yeah, that was a big one, man.
Yeah.
It's like always, like the saying, like when you're listening, always listen like you're going to teach something. And what's cool is like you teaching the course, I think, no doubt, made both of us like take it more importantly. And it's like when you teach content, it always solidifies with you, the teacher, way more.
Yeah.
And for you to be teaching, even though you know it and you were doing it, and then for me to be filming it, I feel like both of us just got taken to that next level. It was really cool.
Yeah, I knew it, but I was becoming a professional through teaching it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, because I had to teach it, I was like, oh, I have to get my shit together to be able to show others, like, what is my business plan? What does that look like? How do I film and produce this? And why do I choose to produce it in this way? What technology do I use? Why do I use that technology? You know, what are the options that people have? Like, I go through a lot of stuff. I go through the marketing of it, the tech of it. Like, so all of that made me have to, like, go to the next level and really take that super seriously.
Yeah.
And it made me move further away from being an agency, which is what you were running with Visual Air, and I was running with my own stuff, a superhero agency, if you want to call it that. And I kind of started or ended up working on something called Whiz Crew with a good friend of mine, which we partnered with. So all of that was part of that same, you know, time period and lesson.
Like we're growing up together.
I think so. Yeah. The difference is you're 24 and crushing it, and I'm 31 and crushing it in my own way. But I think I'm very excited for just how much you are killing it. I can see, even from my perspective, the confidence you are gaining in your own ability to be a teacher, your own ability to be a leader. I think you were always there, but you were just like waiting for the invitation in some way.
I just don't think the experience was there. Yeah. Like I am never been scared of getting experience and putting the time in and then learning the nuances. And in concept, I understood it well, but I'm getting more seasoned, and I'm only, a few years in. So
yeah,
good stuff. I mean, it's good. But back to that last point, I just want to add this on, which is the whole idea of teaching and it solidifying more. Like in our school, if somebody learns something and they have like success or a big shift, they have to teach it because that's the last layer of growth. It's not
that's
like
the
that
black belt.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the mastery.
Exactly. It's not like give back to the community or any of that. Nope. It's like your last step of growth is contribution.
Yep.
And
and to allow the next person to be, that is the black belt. That is like the fundamental of even Superhero Academy theory. Is you are only good at, or you can only be, like, for me, a real expert at something if you could teach it and then have somebody who watched your lessons exceed your own results. Not even replicate your results, exceed your results, because they had a faster path to that curve and they didn't learn all the bad habits that many of us do.
Yep.
Right? Like, it's like learning a sport. If I'm going to learn golf, for example, and I start swinging horribly, but I play golf for many, many, many months without ever having gotten real lessons on how to do it properly, it will take me more time to undo that than if I had just started day one with the right mentor and the right person to teach me.
Totally.
And golf is normally not a reference I will use, nor do I care about all that much, but I think it is true.
Totally.
Yeah.
At least for what we do. I mean, we help video people. So it's like, depending on how long you've been in that mess of an industry, it's like you can develop some really bad habits, and it's easier taking someone who hasn't tried a video business and taking them far.
Yeah.
But yeah, I totally feel you, man. It's good stuff.
So tell me a little bit more about Video Warrior. Like, so you took, from the time you and I met, you basically built a school. Yeah. You've built a whole community. It's all around, I know what it's around, but please tell me, or the audience and the people who are watching this, what is it that you built? What is it that people can learn in the school?
Good. Well, I'll explain it very flat, but I'd love to also explain why it's important. But we basically take video people who already know how to make videos, and teach them how to sell. Not just how to sell, but what to sell, right? And how to be worth more and charge more. So, for us, like we believe video is the most powerful business tool in the world. Most businesses and video people don't know that because of how the industry is built.
Yeah.
But we just believe when yielded correctly, it can be huge. So if it could bring that much results, then we should get paid for knowing how to do it. And so that's our mastery, is trying to bridge this gap between video and business, because right now it's not just far apart, but it's hurting a lot of businesses.
Yeah.
So yeah, we call ourselves video warriors. We fight for our clients.
I love we were just having dinner right before this, and you were talking about how it's for professional videographers, or people who want to be professional videographers, let's say. So they have an understanding of how to make video.
Sure.
But it's not about making video. It's about making a business that sells video, or helping businesses use video to actually grow their business in and of itself. It's helping the professional who's going to go in there and say, I know your business needs video. Here's why, and here's how I can help create that video for you, and how those videos actually convert and actually do that stuff. It's not about just the camera settings or what preset or LUT somebody is using.
That's the easy part.
Sure. But I love that you have like a Facebook group, for example, that you like ban any of that, right? It's like, it's not about the gear. And we hear this all the time, right? Like every big YouTuber that makes videos for a living, it's like, it's not about the gear. It's about like the story you're able to tell. But I think you take it to a next level further, which is like, it's not even about the story that you tell.
No.
It's also about like the approach, the investment that you can make in yourself, and the investment that you can make other people make in video, and in hiring you as a videographer to help make that happen. And I love that. I love that it's so niche, it's so powerful in that way. But it's yielding results, and that's amazing.
Yeah. I mean, I think the most important part in that respect is knowing what video needs to get made, and then what to do with it. And knowing all that based off, what do you call it? Like diagnosing a business, figuring out where the big, in chiropractic we call it subluxation, but where the big opportunities are.
Yep.
And then knowing what video needs to get made to secure that opportunity, or to stop the leak if there's a leak. And then knowing how to implement and track. But making it, I mean, we do in a sense talk about like testimony, like we'll talk a bit about what makes these things good, but we're not going to tell you how to set your ISO and what camera to buy. Mm-hmm. That is definitely what's created a lot of this mess.
Yeah, I think that there's just too much emphasis on making the pretty video, and they overvalue the beauty of a video, which I think is important. I think good framing is important. I think good lighting is important. I'm clearly one of those people who nerds out on that.
Sure.
Hence,
yeah. But you're a creative. You're a creative. Yeah.
And I'm a creative, and I love that. This is this is an art for me at this point.
Yeah.
It's like, it's no different than me making the paintings that are behind you. You know what I mean? For me, it's a form of expression, not just a form of business. But I've known video is super important in business forever. Yeah. I think it's the most important thing that people could do in terms of like the best ROI dollar that they can spend is on video.
Yeah.
And even if they wanted to turn on Facebook ads, video ads perform better than non-video ads.
Sure.
For the most part. And so it's like, if you can, like, there's nothing better that communicates online, and there's nothing more efficient than online communication, but there's nothing better that communicates online than moving pictures and sound. Now, without a doubt, wherever somebody has a following, let's say they have a big podcast and somebody's listening to this in via audio, well, it's also influential. But I think video is just the king of that. And I think a lot of people feel like it's saturated, who are in the industry, but it's far from, because there are millions and millions of small business owners and entrepreneurs and people out there that are not making enough video. And if you subscribe to the Gary Vee school of thought, they're not making like 100 videos a day, because he's just insane.
Yeah. Well, I think the way I like to think about this, and this is more we're in a podcast format, so we can go this deep, but if you look at the digital world, and that's how I see it, as a world, it has everything a world does, communities, commerce, communication. It's where the world's going, and it's businesses' responsibility to begin merging their identities and business models into this world, where physics are completely different, where time doesn't exist, right, online, not in the same way it does in, we'll call it the 3D world. So in time, you can, time is unlocked. Basically, there's no limits. You can survive everywhere at all places. And that goes to the second part, which was space. So not only can you be in multiple places, you could be all there at once, the same time, all the time. So when you learn how to merge an identity or like a business model or a message onto this platform, that's what's winning right now, is because a lot of companies are limited to time and space. If they don't spend time on something, or they're not in a certain place, they don't drive results. This is why all small businesses are failing, is because they're limited to a 3D paradigm. And video just acts and plays with reality really nicely, depending on how much you distort it and mess around with it. But it's video in a sense is reality in this new world. Mm-hmm. So what I focus on is what parts of 3D reality are great and they work, but they're just limited. And that's where we find where we can really begin making an impact, not just by making flashy videos and doing new strategies, but recognizing what's already driving people, what's already creating breakthroughs, what are the moments inside of a business that are doing something but are just limited. And most people, when they think video, it's like, oh, the Gary Vee stuff. Like let's go into this new world. First, I look at what's already working with our world and just merge it into the new physics. And that's for Video Warriors, what has been because it's almost like guaranteed results, right? If you don't really mess up, because it already works. People already learn about who you are and what you do and what makes you different and why you do it, and it's literally driving your business. So we just need to unbind that, and that's the kind of places we focus on first. Mm-hmm. Going on the offense and creating commercials and vlogs, like that's stuff that we recommend doing down the line after you've unbound yourself.
So you mentioned something there, and I know you're an expert at this, going on the offense versus defense. Mm-hmm. So this is something that's incredibly important in business, but I think in everything, but very specifically in video strategy. There are videos that are offense-based, and there are videos that are defense-based. Yeah. What does that mean? What does that look like?
Yeah, well, everyone likes the offense, right? They like running ads and posting, video memes, and that's great. But the question is like, what happens when someone gets interested and then goes to your platforms? Mm-hmm. Like a lot of people, it's funny. There's two types of marketers, right? There's ones that say more traffic, just push more traffic, and then the others are like, well, we should optimize for this. So defense stands for the videos that people see when they come looking for you. Yeah. These are intent-based, like they're already intending to look for you. That's a whole different psychology. You got longer retention. You could tell things like about your story. Yep. You could introduce products. Mm-hmm. Offense, on the other hand, nobody's looking for you. These are the videos you use to go looking for people who aren't looking for you. Yeah. Those are your ads, and your empowering your some of your H's. Yeah. Some headlines and some cool viral videos. Yeah. So what we teach is to secure defense, play offense. So before you go play, first secure defense, so that when your dream customers hit your page,
they actually convert.
They raise their hand and convert. Yeah. We focus there first.
And even converting can just mean that they just understand who you are and what you do. Sure. It doesn't even always have to be an offer. It doesn't even mean that you have to have a product or have to be selling something necessarily. Yeah. But what you want them to do is really join in some layer of depth, right? Yeah. And even if that means like they come to, they find a video like a help video. Help video is like, you make a topic on how to download the new iOS 13, for example, right? Mm-hmm. Or the top 10 features of iOS 13. That's a headline/help video. Why? Headline because it just came out. Help because maybe you can teach them how to use it, right? Yep. So it's those are both offensive videos, meaning somebody who finds this on YouTube doesn't necessarily need to know anything about you. Yeah, but once they are intending, there is intent. There is intent, which is good. Yeah, but those are still offensive videos because they clicked the video because they thought they were going to get information, not because they thought they liked you. When they click from that video to your YouTube page, right, your YouTube channel, now on that channel is a channel video, and that is defensive video. Like, sure. Why am I going to subscribe to your channel? What can I expect from this channel? When they scroll through your feed of videos and your playlists of videos, they want to know what kind of videos you make regularly, and then they might subscribe. Mm-hmm. Or they might go to your Instagram or your Facebook, maybe because they use that more, and they'll subscribe there or they'll follow there. Or they'll go to your website, and that's even better, right? Mm-hmm. But all of that is a game between capturing people's attention and then retaining their attention and having them understand what kind of attention and what kind of value you are putting out in the world. Mm-hmm. And I think a lot of people, like you said, focus so much on the externality piece because that's the thing. It's visual. It's sexy, yeah. Exactly. It's sexy because it's like, oh, look how many followers we have. Yeah. And the truth is, as somebody who has found a way to hack the system and gain a ton of followers, both through creating tons of value and also through just being a fucking hacker. Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Same thing. Carry on.
Yeah. But a hacker meaning, I find ways to growth to I don't want to say artificial, because I'm not buying likes. I'm not doing anything like that. But I am finding ways that are incrementally better at growth than any other strategy.
Yeah, you're hacking a pipeline and turning it into an absolute vacuum of attention. Like a
vacuum of attention.
Yeah,
exactly.
It's interesting. It's almost unnatural, but at the same time, that's what the internet is all about: unbound opportunity.
Totally.
Right? So it's like, I love it, man.
It's a little bit of a wild, wild west. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
Because it's constantly changing. Because here's the thing: we're competing versus other people and their content. I'm like, at the end of the day, I'm competing versus Netflix. If I'm a creator and I'm fighting for your attention, you might be watching the new Netflix, special or the new Netflix show. And so I'm competing on that. I'm competing against all things that capture your attention in some weird way, and then on multiple platforms. But once I've got your attention, now the question becomes, what do I do with it?
Yeah.
And so I've been down the rabbit hole of the last 2.5 years that you and I, since we first met, beyond the course that we filmed, and you came out to Costa Rica, which was one hell of a trip.
Amazing.
In many ways. And all of that.
Let's go.
Yeah. But all of that.
Cheers to secrecy.
Cheers to secret masterminds and things that go on in the jungles. Yeah, but all of that came together in a way that, over the last 2.5 years, I've been upgrading my defense.
Nice.
I've spent a lot of time thinking about my defense, and my defense not just being on the video front, but also code,
the entire
look and feel, the entire platform. Yeah,
just whatever's going to get someone to make that next decision.
Yeah,
is your defense. Like anything people go see when they're looking for you is defense.
Exactly.
But there is a video.
Oh, of course. Video is going to be an important piece of it.
Yeah. But it's got to have the supporting factors. Like when we teach video warriors to create lead generation to people, we have literally, it's one page and it's a headline, a video, a little bit of messaging, and a form. And it's the strongest defense ever because it's set up for a binary decision. So that's a whole defensive platform, aimed at getting someone to know what you do. If they're your dream client, connect with you, know what makes you different, fill out an extensive form and click submit in 12 minutes flat. It's a binary decision. It's just like landing pages, it's like one option.
Yep.
A lot of people don't treat their business like this. They have a whole website. And if that's your primary form of conversion, that's like horrible, because websites are like, every tab is a decision. Yep. Every video, every little thing is a decision. So really a smart way to secure your defense is to have a binary decision platform where someone can come in and do it quick.
A specific pain point, a specific need, a headline that it says, hey, if you do this thing, you'll get that need met in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
And then they input some form of information. By clicking, they input some kind of information from an ads perspective. But by entering their name and email, they're putting a deeper layer of information. And now you're creating a two-way channel of communication, most likely, right? Or if you're done properly, then that's what you're doing. And that is super valuable and super powerful. And it's changed the game. I mean, entrepreneurship wasn't nearly as easy in terms of being able to join in as it is today. There's more opportunity now to be a professional videographer or professional entrepreneur of any kind, or a professional period that is not just about what you went to university or college to study, but actually just going through learning online and learning from other people who have done it through real mentorship. Yeah. It's like we're coming full circle in our education system, where mentorship is coming back into the spotlight, I think.
Yeah, I totally agree, man.
Yeah.
I totally agree.
And so, as much as you're a 24-year-old, you've got a lot of experience in making videos. Yeah. I mean, tell me a little bit about how you got into video. Tell me a little bit about why you became so passionate about it. Like what is it that's drawing you so deeply into that? And I'm going to get water, so I'm going to flip this angle on you real quick.
Yeah, no worries. I always wanted to be a professional skateboarder when I was a kid, and you have to make videos to do that. So the idea is you make videos of you skateboarding, you wear certain brands, and those brands pay you because they get content. So I did that. I signed my first contract with a business when I was 9 years old. I was on the apparel team for an energy drink company. First videos flopped. Third video started getting them sales. That was really cool.
9 years old?
Yeah. Got a camera when I was 7.
Wow.
Yeah, and I just beyond that, I just really started experimenting. I've made every type of video you can think of, besides the ones on the band sites. But that's a whole story. I was actually approached for something like that.
Really?
Yeah, it was crazy. But I was 17 years old. I was backstage at this hip hop show. I got really into hip hop music videos. I directed, shot, and edited over 125 of them.
Wow.
Working with small guys, big guys, just the whole spectrum.
Yep.
I was backstage at a show when I was 17 years old, and I'll never forget this. There was an artist who was a top of the line, still to this day, radio hits all day and night. And I was filming his performance, and there was this girl in the audience who offered him $20 to come up on stage and kiss him in the cheek. She's like, "I'll give you $20, let me do it." So she did. And anyways, after the show, I was backstage with this artist, and he was him and his team were basically laughing at this chick and laughing at his whole fan base. He's like, "Dude, this chick's a dumbass. Like my fan base are idiots, like things like this." And I remember having this moment because I was getting like very I don't want to say influential, but like a lot of people were looking up to me. I was in high school working, doing these things, and I remember thinking like, "Oh gosh, what am I doing? Like, who am I helping?" Like existential moment, straight up. Like, wow, I'm getting powerful and I'm helping this guy. Like, where's my life going? Heart stop. And yeah, just around that time, I met a guy named Bo Pierce. He was a chiropractor. And I learned that he helped people's bodies re-heal themselves, opposed to going and getting hooked on these pharmaceutical drugs. And I had this crazy mind shift where I realized that business is like the key to solving a lot of the world's problems. So here's my line of thinking. There's a lot of problems in this world. Businesses are machines designed to solve problems. Video is the most powerful business tool in the world. Totally inaccessible by business because the industry is not designed to help businesses. So I just had this realization that, holy crap, like I need to align myself with businesses. And I found a deep, deep love for businesses, like deep. And I just went on a mission to engineer all the gaps when it came to video and business, and to go out on this like experimental journey of my life to figure out how this tool can be used to grow a business. And there's so much in between then and now, but that it was an amazing time. I'll tell one story. I think this story is really important.
Sure.
So I used to own a coffee shop, and one day a woman walked in. Dude, this is crazy. Bo Pierce introduced me to this woman. So that chiropractor had this girl come in. She was a dog trainer, right? Well, she spent 1,200 hours a year on sales calls. Okay, selling the dog training. She was booked. She didn't need any more people. She actually came in because she promised her audience something. And I remember talking to her, and I had this like aha moment an hour in, where I call it now a customer breakthrough, but it's like one of those moments where you connect with someone, you realize that they're different, and they like, something happens where you're like, I get it. Like, I get why, like, I want to do business. I didn't even have a dog. I was like, I want to do business with you. So I hit her up that night, and I was like, hey, so that 2-hour conversation changed my life. I want to try to make that into 2 minutes and give this to people who are going to buy from you before they get on a call. And I did that, and I shot it on my phone, edited it the same day, and she literally went from spending 1,200 hours a year on sales calls to closing 98% of her deals without ever getting on a call. She's now the top, she's in the top 3, if not the top dog trainer in the world as far as finance. Like, she makes great money. She trains dogs for all the celebrities. She went from her backyard operation to multi-acre. She has a book. She speaks around the world. That would never have happened if she was spending 1,200 hours a year on sales calls. The point being is that what she did already worked. Yeah. She was amazing. But we needed to extract why people made, like, what was working.
What was the core idea?
Yeah, and then unbind it from the physics of the 3D. And that's what we did.
I love that. I love your explanation of the unbinding of like, take what works, take the superpowers that people have, and then just capture that and turn it into hero videos, essentially.
Yeah. So after some real thinking about what the hell just went down, because I didn't know, like literally overnight. I'm saying like literally overnight, this thing started working. She was the one who told me that, and so I named this video the video business card. The problem is like you can go out, like a company can ask for an about us video or a company video, but there's no real thinking behind, like that's not an actual thing. Yeah. It's just
they're not thinking about it
there's
from
no
the perspective of why people want to watch it. They're just thinking about it from like maybe people give a shit and maybe they'll check out our website. So they're creating it as like full on defense with no closing capacity, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and there's no formula for it. It's a concept. Yeah. Like when about us video, there's no particular way to make an about us video. Yeah. The video business card operates off core business fundamentals, which is that the 5 or 4, like it's a 5-part formula. I'll give it here. I don't mind. But it's basically comprised of the things that drive any business, which is who are you, what do you do, why do you do it, what makes you different, and what do I got to do business with you. So that's the formula, and it's an emotional, logical dance between information, emotion, and visuals. Here's the other thing about video. Besides the automation capabilities, you could show things. To see is to believe. In skateboarding, we had this term that was like footy or it never happened. Like if you can't show me it, and here we have business just talking about all the stuff they do. Like you can't even show it. And it's funny. It's like when you do show it, it's amazing. Yeah. Like when you can show a personality or show your smoothie getting made or drink or like whatever it is that you do, you might not think of it as a visual thing, but if you can show, that's the number one way to create belief the number one way to create sales. So it's like if you didn't believe in like aliens and I showed you like a live alien, you're going to believe it instantly. Yeah. That's what visuals do. I'm a big believer in it.
I think you're very correct. I think you're very, very, very correct in that. And by the way, if you want more, I'll get you one. So feel free to finish it. But I believe that the world needs better storytellers, and the world does not understand how much the world